الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأرض وعمارها، وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت، بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا واشعب به صدعنا وارتق به فتقنا وكثر به قلتنا وأعزز به ذلتنا وأغن به عائلنا واغض به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به عسرنا وبيض به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجح به طلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وأعطنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله وبضر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد. Inshallah, I'll be reciting from Surah Al-Yasin and we'll continue with the program. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردنا الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على رسول الله وآله الأطهار على رسول الله وآله الأطهار صلوات.
Assalamu rahmatullah and welcome to the Islamic House of Wisdom. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa bihi nasta'in. Innahu khayru nasirin wa mubin. A great night, one of the nights of power. And we have a few minutes to have some chatting, friendly chatting before guest speaker come. And we officially start the service. We have a longer night tonight compared to last night, because after the lecture we are going to do the a'mal. Though the a'mal of tonight won't be as long as the a'mal of Thursday night. Thursday night we are going to be even longer one. Alaikum assalam. But tonight, when we go for the service, we join the brothers and sisters in the masjid. And when we are done with Al-Joshan, we are going to have a very fresh and delicious suhoor, if you want to call it suhoor, or if you want to go home and eat again, it's up to you. But I think that bakery is going to take care of you till next iftar that you will have. If you remember last night, I was saying that Ramadan can be compared to a journey. It's a spiritual journey. And this journey takes 29 days to 30 days sometime, 29, sometimes 30 days. And it is a heavenly flight. And it has its own regulations. And the destination of this journey is Jannah. So Ramadan is a journey to Jannah. And we mentioned that the main condition for this journey to end in Jannah is one word. Anybody was here last night? What was the word as the main condition, the main passport to paradise? Remember? The word at-taqwa, right? Thank you. I'm sorry I said before you say it. Because the Quran says the philosophy of fasting is what? Tattaqun. That you go through the time of Ramadan, the time of transformation. Transformation is taqwa. So when you are successful in this transformation, in this change, through your reflection, through your recitation, through your prayer, through your fasting, the goal is to gain a taqwa as a pass on Siratul Mustaqim to get to the final point, which is heaven, inshallah. So both Quran says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. The whole month of fasting was meant to provide you with the character of taqwa. And also, the pilot of this journey, which is the Quran, هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ. The purpose of this flight, based on the pilot statement, is هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Isn't it interesting that fasting message is لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, and then the message of the Quran itself is هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, is a guidance for muttaqin. Although the Quran is هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ, is for everyone, although the Quran addressing Ya Bani Adam, Ya Ayyuhal Insan, so the entire global community are the target of the Quran. The Quran is a book of diversity talking to everyone. But هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, those who are muttaqin, they benefit the best, benefit the most. No one received the beauty, the safety, the health, the happiness, the joy, the achievement, the accomplishment of this journey of the Siyam and the Quran more than muttaqin. So when the Quran says, I'm here to be a guidance for muttaqin, that doesn't mean that if you are not muttaqin, Quran is not talking to you. No, Quran is talking هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ. It's for everyone. But if you are a person of taqwa, a person of transportation, a person that going through the change of Ramadan, a person of this particular joyous journey, then you receive the more. You benefit from the reception of Ramadan, reception of revelation, reception of the Quran. This ma'ida ma'nawiyya. So we receive a ma'ida, we receive a gift, a blessing, a reception which is so heavenly. It's not material. It's not about eating and drinking more. It is about thinking more. It is a food for your thought, food for your faith. If you are at that level, you receive the most. So again, we are involved in this journey of 1 month. The destination is Mardatullah, the pleasure of Allah. The destination is paradise. And the most fundamental feature in this flight, in this journey, is al-muttaqeen, la'allakum tattaqoon. That is the purpose. Now, when we are talking about Imam Ali alayhi salam, and tonight is the night of martyrdom. Imam Ali was targeted by terrorists on 19th of Ramadan. He was still alive for a couple of days, and on 21st of Ramadan, Imam Ali departed the dunya, and the dunya became so dark in the absence of this global spiritual light, universal light. So it's so sad, it's so heartbreaking, it is tragic, it is disastrous of missing and losing a man, a hero, a role model, a voice of human justice, a voice of truth. Aliyun ma'al haq wal haqqu ma'a Ali. You want to know where is Ali? Look for truth. Wherever truth is, Ali is there. And wherever Ali is, truth is there. Aliyun ma'al Quran wal Quranu ma'a aliyan. If you are looking for the spirit of Quran, the true Quran, the real Quran, the message of Quran, Ali is the model of the Quran. So the Quran is a message, but Ali is the model. He is manifestation of this message. He is manifestation of this book. This is Ali. Now, this Ali, alayhi salam, on a night like today and tonight, he is calling for the entire family to meet, to get together, and to hear the final message of Amir al-Mu'mineen. What was the first word that Imam mentioned addressing his family? Subhanallah, the same message that I was talking. The first word was what? Usikum bitaqwa Allah. Isn't it interesting? Message of Ramadan, message of the Quran, message of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the same thing. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ أُوصِيكُمْ بِتَقْوَى اللَّهِ. That's all on the same mihwar, the same axis. Now, the question is that why this happened? I mean, what is wrong? George Jordan, as you know, George Jordan, God bless his soul, he was a Christian guy, a Christian scholar. He was Arab, he was Lebanese, and he spent 45 to 50 years of his life searching about Imam Ali and writing about Imam Ali. And he wrote those 4 or 5 mujalladat, the volumes of books about Imam Ali, and one of them was Sawtul Adalat al-Insaniyah. Imam Ali was the voice of human justice, global justice. This is what Imam Ali said. George Jordan makes this statement. He says, قتل علي في محرابه لشدة عدله. Imam Ali was killed in the mihrab because of seriousness, his seriousness about justice. The reason Ali was killed because he called for justice. So he was victim of injustice that was going on in that society. قتل في محراب عبادته لشدة عدله. This is a statement of a non-Muslim man, a non-Muslim scholar, a Christian scholar. Now, the question is this. Who killed Imam Ali? Who killed Imam Ali? Who were they? The group, the criminal gangs who targeted Amir al-Muttaqin, Amir al-Mu'mineen, they were called what? Khawarij, right? Khawarij were the qatala. You know, when on 19th of Ramadan, one of the mustahabbat was to say, Allahumma al'an qatalata Amir al-Mu'mineen. How many times? 100. I hope you said it at least 10 times, right? 100 times is mustahab on 19th of Ramadan to condemn the killers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because you don't want to reward them for their crimes. You want to make sure that qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen, those people who are willing to kill a man like Ali, they are condemned, they are punished, they are cursed, they are not rewarded, they are not welcomed in human community. 100 times. Allahumma al'an qatalat Amir al-Mu'mineen means the Khawarij. Now, who are the Khawarij? It's interesting that Khawarij, they decided to kill Imam Ali, though they know he is a global voice of justice, a universal voice of justice. How a humankind, or how a person is convinced that it's good to kill Ali? Why people come to this conclusion? How a person may come to this conclusion that is okay to kill Ali? Not only okay, it is wajib, you have to. Like this is your duty. I mean, how? You know why they chose 19th of Ramadan? Because 19th of Ramadan is one of the nights of power, right? That if you do any act on 19th in night of power, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr, right? Any good action that you do equals 1,000 times a reward of doing the same thing in any other time. If you do salat on night of power, is 1,000 times more thabab. If you do sadaqah and charity, 1,000 times more. Any acts of kindness on the night of power, khayrun min alf, is better than 1,000 actions of the same kindness, the same good things in any other time. So they chose the night of power to kill Imam Ali because they thought they received more thabab. They thought that by killing Amir al-Mu'mineen on the night of power, they get 1,000 times more ajr wa thabab. What do you call this? What is the word for this kind of action? What do you think? What kind of person may do such a thing? What title you give to the person who killed Imam Ali in the name of a religious duty? What do you call it? What? Insane, right? Insane? Insane? Insanity? Yes. Kafir? Yeah, that is kafir too, because it's covering the truth. Kafir means that somebody hide the truth, right? What other word you can use for a killer of Imam Ali? A terrorist, right? The terrorist, what else? Ashqal Ashqiya is like the most brutal person, ruthless, maximum ruthlessness, right? What else? Weakness, that is another word. But you know, weakness, ashqal ashqiya, insanity, kafir, whatever, all of them can be under one word, in my judgment, ignorance. Ignorance, right? You agree, girl? You agree that ignorance? What did she say? Yeah, it's not going to Jannah. It's even in Jahannam, the other people in Jahannam are bothered by, we don't want this guy. We take anything in Jahannam except Ibn Muljam. I mean, you are right. That is, even Jahannam is not ready for. Ignorance. Ignorance. It's a big problem. And that is why, my dear brothers and sisters, be very careful when you choose a friend. Don't choose an ignorant person, because, you know, somebody, young person came to me last night and he wanted me to give him some advices. And I told him, be careful about your friends. You know, nowadays, this Facebook full of friends, but many of them are fake. They are not true friends, right? Like even Sayyid has 150,000 friends on Facebook. Maybe 1,000 are from Dearborn, but they are not coming here. I mean, the Sayyid is here, and all of these people online and her followers, you don't see them. What kind of friends are you, right? That you die online for somebody, but you are not there. That means that all of these friends, and Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. We are doing some ghiba, said now. So it's not that you are friends with someone online, but be true friends. Choose anyone except the ignorance. Imam Ali said, إِيَّاكَ وَمُصَادَقَةَ الْأَحْمَقِ. You know, it's good to have friends. I mean, we cannot survive without friends. Friendship is a great gift from God. Imam Ali was the best friend of God. But be selective about your friend. Make sure that you don't choose foolish people, ignorant people. And also al-bakhil, those who are mean, those who are cheap, those who are stingy. Wal-fajr, the one who are corrupt, the one who are immoral. And Imam Ali said, and worst of them, wal-kadhab. He said, when you choose a friend, be careful about these 4 categories. Al-ahmaq, al-fajr, al-bakhil, al-kadhab. Those who lie, those who deceive, those who cheat. Those who are not honest. So yes, Imam Ali was a victim of those people who were ignorant. Khawarij, they were ignorant. And ignorance is the worst disease in human society. They killed Imam Ali on the night of power to get 1,000 more thabab, 1,000 times of thabab out of their ignorance. And even more ignorant than Khawarij were people who used to live in Sham. When they heard that Imam Ali was killed in the masjid, they said, oh, in the masjid? What was Ali doing in the masjid? He said, he was doing the salat. Oh, was Ali praying at all? Ali la yusalli wa la yasum. So ignorant that they thought that Ali was kafir, na'udhu billah, he didn't pray, he didn't fast. That was even al-jahl al-murakkab, double ignorance. So be careful, brothers and sisters, especially the youth. My advice is for you, I'm like your father now, for my sons and daughters, when you choose your friend, be careful about those who lie, those who are immoral, those who are mean and cheap, and those who are ignorant. That means we don't have too many options, right? In society, it's very hard to find a true friend. But Ramadan is helpful. You are in the masjid, you have a better opportunity to find faithful friends. Those of you who are watching us or watch us later, you miss a lot, because we have so many brothers and sisters here that they come in the name of friendship of God, friendship with Ahlul Bayt, and friendship among ourselves, and you miss that. You may find so many friends on Facebook, but your real faithful friends are the ones who are here, that we listen to the lecture, then we go to the masjid, we recite Dua al-Ujushan, and when Joshan is over, inshallah, you are going to share a very fresh and delicious suhoor together. But before having that physical suhoor and that suhoor festival after the Joshan, let us have a spiritual suhoor, which is the lecture of our Honorable Sayyid, بعد الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين، ويا قائد الغر المحجلين، اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم: وقوله الحق وهو أصدق الصادقين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولو جعلناه ملكا لجعلناه رجلا. So in your gathering with remembrance of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, as a gift to the soul of Sayyidina wa Habibi Qulubina Rasulullah and his honorable brother Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Mawla al-Muwahhideen Ali ibn Abi Talib, recite the second salawat. for Allah to shower onto this gathering with His infinite mercy and compassion on this blessed evening, and to hasten the reappearance of Mawlana Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. Recite the third salawat with the loudest of your voices. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam had an extremely difficult life. He had an extremely difficult upbringing. He went through a lot of difficulties, a lot of agony, a lot of pain, a lot of hardship growing up. Before he was born, his father had died. And you can imagine the impact that that would have on a child's personality today. Now imagine what it would mean 1,400 years ago amongst the Bedouin Arabs for a child not to have a father. He was taken care and cared for by his mother and his grandfather. Then his mother died at a very young age, so he became a yatim. He became an orphan. No father, no mother. No one to take care of him. So he shifted to his grandfather's care, and soon his grandfather also died. And when he went to his uncle's home, Abu Talib, I am certain that Abu Talib did everything that he possibly can to take care of young Muhammad, to look after him, care for him, feed him, nurture him. However, Abu Talib had many children, as you know. And Abu Talib was not a very wealthy man. So I can imagine that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam had probably many sleepless nights, many nights in tears, feeling lonely, feeling sad, feeling abandoned, hurt. Not by Abu Talib, but maybe at some point in time he was also treated as a second-class family member. Not by Abu Talib and his wife, but maybe people looked at him that way, that you're a yatim. You don't have a father, you don't have a mother. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to that in the Holy Quran. That you were an orphan boy, you were lost, you were confused, you were hurt, you were broken, you were lonely. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looked after you and He took care of you. And that is why Rasulullah created a bond with the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His best of friend was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had tremendous faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why when he faced so many calamities throughout his life, he never gave up. He never ran away. He faced them knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to look after him and take care of him. And this stigma of being a poor orphan child stayed with him throughout his entire life. Can you believe that? He was told by the Arabs in Mecca that how can you be a prophet? Why would God choose you as a prophet? You're not an angel. You eat like we eat. You sleep. You need to rest. You're not a king. You're not a wealthy man. You're an average, ordinary guy. You were an orphan. What makes you think that we should believe in you as the last messenger of God? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to them within the Holy Quran. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, is something that we ought to learn as well from Rasulullah. That if somebody says something about me, if somebody goes out there to defame me, if somebody harasses me, I become so upset. See, this is not true. What they're saying about me is not true. It is wrong. I need to make sure that I defend myself. I'm not going to stay quiet because they're spreading all those rumors about me. I want you to listen to this very important, delicate point. But when people say good things about us, some of them are true, and some of them are not. When they say great things about us, or they believe we are bigger and better than what we really are, do we say, well, that's not true. I want to make sure that everybody understands what they're saying is incorrect. I'm going to correct them. I'm not who they believe I am. I am not who they say I am. When they say the wrong, hurtful things, we're very upset. We want to make sure that we stand up and we clarify. But when they say great things, what do? We're quiet. We're smiling. We're endorsing. Yes. And some people, they don't just stop there. They are the ones that self-promote themselves. I am the greatest. I am the best. I am this. I am that. What did Rasulullah teach us from his seerah, from his sunnah? When people would praise him, when people would praise our a'imma, they would say, Allahumma ghfir li ma la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, forgive me in that which they don't know. You have concealed. They are unaware. وَاجْعَلْنِي, and by your grace, فَوْقَ مَا يَقُولُونَ, above what they say. Make me even better than what they know. But at the same time, give me humility within my nafs. Don't let this turn into music and fall onto my ears. That, oh my God, really? Maybe I am who they say I am. Maybe I am this great gift of God to humanity. And soon people start believing in that. On the contrary, when they attacked the A'imma, when they attacked Rasulullah, when they say you're a false prophet, you are a majnoon, na'udhu billah, you are a magician, Rasulullah stayed quiet. Do you think Rasulullah, every time they told him you are an insane person, he says, no, please, come and ask me, come and talk to me, I'm not insane. Or when they called him a magician, he stood up in the Masjid al-Haram and he gave a speech about how he was not a magician. Go find me one. Or how he was manipulating their youth. He stood up and he said, listen, I'm not manipulating your youth. No. He did what he needed to do. He kept propagating the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't take things personal. And instead, Allah defends him. Allah reveals the wahi to honor Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Just like Yusuf. Yusuf, this young boy who was taken by his own brothers, the amount of injustice that he saw, the amount of pain that they caused him. They threw him in a well, then they sold him as a slave. Then he went as a slave boy in the house of Zulaykha, and you know what happened there. Then he shifts into prison. All because of the greed of his brothers, the jealousy of his brothers. And when he gets out of prison, what did he do? He was a powerful man. He could have instantly sent for his brothers and put them in prison. But what did he do? He went about his life. He was a prophet of God. He had a mission. He needed to accomplish his mission. He needed to stay focused on his task. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made things in a way where the stars were aligned. And his brothers came to him. We need you. Not knowing who he was. And then when they realized who he was, they had to ask forgiveness and beg him. And he was the bigger man that bestowed forgiveness upon them. So he was the personification of the maghfirah of Allah. I want you to take this for now. He was the personification, the embodiment, the reflection of the mercy and the compassion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through a prophet of Allah, Yusuf as-Siddiq. When such people came to Rasulullah and they told him, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Muhammad, you cannot be a prophet. Because you're not an angel, you're not a king, you're not a wealthy man. Even in size, you're an average guy. You know, you're not like 6 feet tall you're not the Rock. What makes you special? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, all the prophets prior to him, they were also bashar. They're also human beings. But there is one difference between those human beings and everyone else. What is the difference? They receive revelation. They are connected to the wahi. So ask them, test them. Because anybody could come and say, I receive wahi. Well, how do we know? Through miracles. Some people say, why didn't Rasulullah, for example, have the same miracles as Jesus? He had many, by the way, physical miracles. But look at Jesus. He resurrected the dead. Okay? That's big, huh? He resurrected the dead. He cured the leper. He gave vision to the blind. When he was taken, now the Christians believe he was crucified. We believe that Allah saved him and another man was crucified on his behalf. But anyways, when the chapter of his life there ended, and we believe he's still alive. Christians also believe he's alive and he's going to return. But when that chapter of his life ended, how many people believed in him? Very few. And those same people had seen him resurrect the dead. And those same people had seen him give cure to the lepers and give vision to the blind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed a greater miracle upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I'm going to talk about that. Besides the Holy Quran, besides the final revelation, besides the book, he had a greater gift. The greatest gift bestowed by Allah to any human being. This conversation seems like it's old. You know, a prophet needs to be an angel. He needs to be somebody special. But do we have similar conversations today? Do we hear similar things? Because I wouldn't be doing you justice if I just spoke of things that were from 1,000 years ago, right? 1,400 years ago. This needs to resonate. We need to feel it. We need to feel the teachings of Islam in our lives today. Are there people today that question Rasulullah, question Islam, even question the Quran? There's a Muslim scholar And I kid you not, there's a famous Muslim scholar in the Islamic Renaissance. I don't have time to talk about the Islamic Renaissance and how it started. But one of those Muslim scholars says that imagine you give your son at the age 2 a shirt. It's perfect. Fits him perfectly. He'll look good in that shirt. When he's 2.5, not so much. When he's 3, well, guess what? It's going to be very tight and ugly. But when he's 10, it's not going to fit. He's not going to be able to wear it when he's 10. But you tell him, that's a perfect shirt. He says, it was a perfect shirt when I was 2, man, not when I'm 10. Right? He says, Islam is the same. At the time when Rasulullah came with the Sharia and with the Islamic laws and with the Quran, it was that perfect shirt. And it fit everyone. And it served their purpose. But today, we need to change the laws. We need reform. Those laws are out of date. They're no longer applicable in the people's lives. So we hear such things, and then we also come across, as technology develops, and we live in a very strange world today, at a strange time. It's good and bad. It's good in a sense that today you can hop on a flight, and within less than a day, you're in Mecca. Not long ago, if you went to Mecca, you would never go back home. You stay there. People went there when they're 60 years old. The journey takes months, years sometimes. And they just settled there because it didn't make sense for them to go back. People went to Karbala and they didn't leave Karbala. They stayed there because the journey was tough. It was long. It was aggressive. And there were so many people throughout the journey that would stop their caravan and they would steal their goods and they would take their money and they would harass them. But today, you could do that very comfortably in safety. But also today, many people's prophet has become the chat GBT. They say, why do we need a prophet now? Why do we need Islam? Just go and chat to this AI. It will amaze you. It is mind-boggling. Ask this AI anything, they'll tell you. This AI now is doing people's homework. It's writing essays. It's making vacation plans. It's answering every single question that you possibly can have. So why do we need religion? Do you see how the Quran relates in our life? Then what they saw as the most powerful thing was what? If you're a king, if you're rich, if you own a big business. And what they saw as the lowest of the low was if you're an orphan kid. Nobody cares about you. Today, we see power in not millions, billions, hundreds of millions, or ChatGPT. And the same question arises again. And tonight, brothers and sisters, on the eve of the 21st of Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr, we are here thirsty for spirituality and a connection with Allah. Right? In fact, even the people who are not here, even the people who are not aware that tonight is the 21st and Laylatul Qadr, they could be non-Muslims. They're still thirsty for God and spirituality. Many people around the world today, even if they have billions, they're still thirsty for spirituality, for guidance. And when we come here, we're wondering, which dua should I read? How fast? How slow? How many times? How many rak'ah? And I'm trying to fit everything in, and I just want to make sure that I do all those ceremonial acts, which are great, by the way. Because I hear some people say, if you understand one ayah, just keep repeating that one ayah 1,000 times, that's your Laylatul Qadr. If you don't understand Dua Jawsh al-Kabir, don't read it, because you don't understand it. Really? So today, if I go to a pharmacy, and the pharmacy gives me medicine, and I don't know the details of this medicine, I don't take it? What kind of logic is that? This chemist has done his part in providing me with medicine that is cure for me. I know Imam Zain al-Abidin in his dua prays to Allah in the best of ways and asks Allah the best of things. So I say to Allah, oh Allah, I come to you with the dua of Zain al-Abidin. Bestow upon me that which you bestowed upon Zain al-Abidin. And on the day of Eid, what do we say? Allahumma inni as'aluka bihaqqi hadha al-yawm alladhi ja'altahu lil-muslimina Eida wa li Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam dhukhran wa sharafan wa karamatan wa mazida an tudkhilani fi kulli khayrin أدخلت فيه محمدا وآل محمد وأن تخرجني من كل سوء أخرجت منه محمدا وآل محمد. Oh Allah, on this day of Eid, I come to you. I don't know all the calamities that you took Muhammad and Ali Muhammad away from, all their difficulties, all their pains, all the details within their lives. I also don't know all the gifts that you have given them and bestowed upon them. But I ask you to remove all the evil from me that you removed from them and bless me in the same way that you bless them. Is that not a good dua? Is that not an amazing dua? Is that not a complete dua? Is that not a perfect dua? Of course it is. But in order for us, my dearest, to feel the sweetness and the essence of supplication tonight, just imagine you sit there and you say, oh Allah, nobody knows me besides me and you. Nobody can claim, I know this person inside out. I know everything about them. I know their insecurities. I know their pain. I know their difficulty. I know what they go through. I know their fears. Nobody, right? Nobody except you and Allah. And you say, Ya Allah, there are some things I do not have control over. Where I was born, I don't have control over that. When I was born, I don't have control over that. How I was born, I don't have control over that. My DNA, I don't have control over that. I'm prone to do certain things as I grow up because I've inherited those habits and qualities from generations prior to me. And now I am stuck. I really need your help. I know my weaknesses and you know my weaknesses. And I need you to aid me. I need you to give me strength. I need you to allow me to better solve my own problems. I'm not sure if I've left the magnitude of the statement with you all. For us to confess our utter weakness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that we're so desperate. Say, Allah, I messed up. I really am. I'm confessing that to you. Because you know the ins and outs of my life. Ilahi, man li ghayruk? Man li ghayruk? Who is there besides you? أسأله كشف ضري. وَالنَّظَرَ فِي أَمْرِي. Those two statements from Dua Kumail. One, somebody who knows النَّظَرَ فِي أَمْرِي, the depth of who I am. Nobody knows. مَنْ لِي غَيْرُكَ. Who is there? Who am I going to go tell? مَنْ لِي غَيْرُكَ أَسْأَلُهُ كَشْفَ ضُرِّي. And who is there to fix me, this messed up person that I am? I want you to help me. Now imagine if you had an angel. I'm going back to the intro. If you had an angel and you go to this angel and you say, listen, it's very tough to wear hijab, you know. It's very tough to overcome my lust. It's very tough to overcome my greed. It's very tough to stay away from jealousy. It's very tough for me not to be seduced by the worldly glamour. And the angel will tell you, what do I know about that? I don't know anything about that. I don't have desire. I've never felt what you're feeling. So Allah says, I cannot have given you an angel. I had to give you somebody that is human with flesh and blood, that can teach you what it takes to refrain from lust, to refrain from greed, to refrain from jealousy. And similarly, the chat, GBT, or the AI, will not be able to give you that ma'rifah that we are here for tonight. That's irfan, the esoteric secrets of the divine. It can never give you that. Who can give you that? Who can offer that to you? The man that we are commemorating this evening, he can give you that. Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Mawla al-Muwahhideen. As described, he was the ornament of the believers and the best of the worshippers. Read his du'as. Du'a al-Sabah. Du'a Kumail. His munajat al-Sha'baniyah. His munajat every day in the month of Ramadan from Masjid al-Kufa. And I see some people, before they understand Amir al-Mu'mineen, before they read and examine his du'as, his supplications, Nahj al-Balagha, his biography, what he has done, what he has said, they go knocking at the door of others. Others, they could be scholars as well. But how can you leave Amir al-Mu'mineen, the source of all the knowledge, all the good, all the bounties, all the spirituality, who has been chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our guide, and we go to someone else? And tomorrow I want to talk about this, fake spirituality, fake doctors, and how sometimes we get infatuated by some of them. Say, oh, this is so beautiful. Wow. And it's saying something that Ahl al-Bayt stood against, for example. Or teaching something that Ahl al-Bayt or the Quran sometimes clearly advised against. And I want you to ask yourself something tonight, brothers and sisters. I'll make it short. I don't want to make it long. I want to leave you with this. Yesterday we spoke about Saqifa, right? And we said while Rasulullah was on his deathbed, there were other people, instead of waiting for him to be washed and buried and put in his grave and waiting for 40 days to mourn him and cry for him, what happened? They sat there and they divided the inheritance, and they spoke about taking some of the inheritance from Fatima to Zahra and choosing the Khilafah and so on and so forth. How can you do that? And we said that's not acceptable, right? To any Muslim, that's not acceptable. I'm speaking to all Muslims now. Just think about it for a moment. If you were washing your own father and you were putting him in his kafan, and then you called out and you said, let's pray on to my father and some of your brothers and siblings, we're saying, get out of here, man. We're dividing the inheritance. What would you say about them? Tonight, I want you to ask this question of yourself. Who is the Khalifa that resides in your heart and soul? Because when we talk about Saqifas, we get upset. How can they remove Ali ibn Abi Talib? You ask yourself, is there a Saqifa in your heart of other things? Hubb al-dunya, jealousy, hypocrisy, hate, greed, selfishness. Some of us, we cannot. We don't have it in us to help others. It's a disease. Pray to Allah. Say, Ya Allah, help me from this disease. Save me. Free me. Some people, not only they cannot help, but if they see other people successful, other people comfortable, other people happy, they cannot help but to have to bring them down. They receive joy by that. That's their joy in life. That I have everything and I cannot see other people. Do you think if you take $1 million and you give it to someone who's suffering from jealousy and hasad, they'll be okay? Wallah, they won't be okay. Give them 2 million, they won't be okay. Give them 10 million, they won't be okay. Because there's other people also comfortable and happy. As long as they're comfortable and happy, this guy is not okay. This person is not okay. If you have some of that in you, which inshallah you don't, that is your Laylatul Qadr. That you sit there and you say, Allah, cleanse me of this. Purify me of this. Save me of who I am. And you only find that in the school of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So don't think of, Saqifa and how Amir al-Mu'mineen was stripped away from his right, and now we have the same dilemma within ourselves. Within our minds, within our lives. And I truly mean this, and I hope that my voice can reach as many people on this particular sentence I'm about to say. If you've spent your life going after people, it's not too late. Quit it now. Quit it. Judging others, and you've done it for so long, and you're like, man, that's just become a second nature to me. But I have all those other great things that I have done. I should be fine. It's okay. Allah is merciful. Allah is compassionate. It's fine. No. Allah on the Day of Judgment says, between me and you, the things that you have done that I can forgive, I'll forgive. You're free. His rahmah is so vast. But He says, what about those guys? They have to forgive you before you can enter Jannah. And we have to go to those people. Don't put yourself in that miserable state. Say, well, I don't like this person. I don't agree with this person, so I'm going to constantly voice my opinion about them. Don't. Seal your tongues. Find a reason to praise people, and if you don't, then say nothing. That is Laylatul Qadr. That is what we learn from Amir al-Mu'mineen. That is what we learn from Rasulullah and his household. Imagine we are asked, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Right? We all love this. That, we want to know the secrets in Asma'ullah al-Husna. Tomorrow I'm speaking about that. The secrets in God's divine names, right? And He has 99 beautiful names. هو الله الملك القدوس السلام المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. 99, right? And He has 1,000 attributes. That's what we're going to read tonight at Du'a Jawshan al-Kabir. All of those combined mean one thing. All of those combined mean one thing. Allah. That word Allah. That is how powerful the word Allah is. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم السلام المؤمن. All of them are combined in Allah. So imagine how powerful that is. Now, they tell you if you want rizq, you say Ya Raziq. If you want shifa, you say Ya Shafi. If you want peace, you say Ya Salam. Now imagine if you want cure from an illness, but instead you say Ya Qabid, Ya Qabid, Ya Qabid. What does Ya Qabid mean? Or the one who takes the soul of people. So you go to a person, you want to give them shifa, but you say Ya Qabid. If you go to others besides the ones that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam informed you to go to, you will be doing just that. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, we're concluding. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam says, مثل أهل بيتي كسفينة نوح. The example of my progeny is like Noah's ark. مثل أهل بيتي كسفينة نوح من ركبها نجا ومن تخلف عنها هلك وغرق. The example of my progeny is like Noah's ark. You're either in the ark or you're out of the ark. And it doesn't matter who you are if you're out of the ark, including Nuh's son. You'll drown. علي مع الحق والحق مع علي. Ali is with haqq. And haqq is with Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now this haqq, this torch of enlightenment, on a night like this, he was carried by a few people, huh? Some people, when they speak of the funeral of Fatima al-Zahra, they say there were a few people there. But do you know that in the funeral of Amir al-Mu'mineen also, there were selected individuals that took part in his funeral? And there were several graves, just like Fatima, designated for Amir al-Mu'mineen, until it became known. In fact, when you read Ziyarat Aminullah, inshallah, you go to Najaf soon and you stand in front of his grave and you read Ziyarat Aminullah. Read the history of the ziyarah. Imam Zain al-Abidin was doing the ziyarah of his grandfather Amir al-Mu'mineen. Suddenly the guards came and he switched it into a dua. The ziyarah, he switched it into a dua. اللهم فاجعل نفسي مطمئنة بقدرك راضية بقضائك مولعة بذكرك ودعائك. This man who was madloom and still is madloom. Do you think we have done enough for Amir al-Mu'mineen? We have repaid him? We have done justice to him? Wallahi, we haven't. There are people here, people elsewhere in the world that call themselves the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen, but tonight they're busy with sahra and argila and food and watching television. And we apologize to Allah on their behalf. Say, may Allah guide them. We apologize to Amir al-Mu'mineen on their behalf. Because if you know you have a treasure and you let it go, it's a worse crime than what? Then you don't know, you think it's a piece of rock. Other people may not know who Ali is. They do not value him. But if you know who Ali is and you do not value him, that is big. That is one sad and fortunate state. Not only we have a responsibility to lift ourselves and to motivate ourselves and to be amongst his followers, but we have a responsibility that if others amongst his followers are not doing what they're supposed to do, we say, listen, man, like imagine if somebody stops paying their mortgage and you go to their home and he says, listen, you're my friend, right? Yeah, I am. I haven't been paying my car payments and my mortgage for 6 months. Oh, that's cool. It's okay. Or you say, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? They're going to take your home away from you. You're going to be miserable. But when we see others in such nights, they're suffering. Believe me, they're suffering. Because Rasulullah says, ذِكْرُ عَلِيٍّ عِبَادَةً. Not reading Jawshan al-Kabir. It's worse than not making your car payments and your mortgage payments. But then we're like, oh, it's okay, it's a free country. Let them be. Help them. Are they not your friends? Why don't you motivate them? Why don't you awaken them? Do you know the value of being in Baytullah in Laylatul Qadr? Allah has invited you to His home on the secret night. That is very valuable. That is very precious. Let us share that with others. Let's not be greedy. And on nights like this, let us take for brief moments our hearts and our souls to Najaf al-Ashraf, to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Sayyidina wa Mawlana, Ya Mudhir al-Ajaib, نادي عليا مظهر العجائب تجده عونا لك في النوائب يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. All of us together. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا. All the brothers, come on. Sisters, let us together one more time. يا وجيها عند الله. بارك الله. Tonight, as we shed tears for Amir al-Mu'mineen, I want you to just think about this. On a night like this, there were so many people in Kufa that would complain of Ali, and he never stood and told them, be quiet. Do not disrespect me. In the middle of the night, he would wrap his face, and he would go to their homes, he would knock at the door, and he would put them food and clothes and money, and before they arrived to the door, he would be gone. And he would pay a visit to all the aitam, to all the widows, to all the orphans, to all the poor, to all the needy. Imam al-Hasan says, when I was washing the body of my father, I could see the rope, the marks of the rope permanently on his body, because he would carry the goods to the poor. On a night like this, they were crying. They were weeping. Why? Because they said, now we know who that man was. Now we know who Abu al-Aitam was, Amir al-Mu'mineen. And they missed him. They never got to see him again. We say to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you showed so much compassion even to your enemies. Tonight we come to you and we tell you we love you. We love you sincerely. We want you to do our shafa'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Imam al-Hasan put him in his grave, he informed his companions. He said, when I was crying for my father, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said to me, my son Hassan, do not cry. Because if you see what I see, you wouldn't cry. He says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what do you see? He says, I see your grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he's here waiting for me. I yearn to be united with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and they carried him and they put him in his grave. But I tell you, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, there was a little kid, an orphan, on the 10th of Muharram, my last sentence before I conclude. And when they burned the tents of this granddaughter of yours, she was running around from one tent to another. Somebody caught her. She says, oh man, can you take us to Ghari? Where's Ghari? Ghari is Najaf. Can you take us to Ghari? He said to her, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go to Najaf? She says, because I hear it's close. But why do you want to go there? She says, because that's where my grandfather Amir al-Mu'mineen is buried, and I have been told that his sanctuary is a place of amnesty and peace. I need peace. This orphan of Hussein, Ruqayyah. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ 10 times before we go to Jawshan al-Kabir and the A'mal, inshallah, and we pray not just for ourselves, for others. 10 times we say this statement. Allahumma inni as'aluka بكتابك المنزل وما فيه وفيه اسمك الأعظم وأسماؤك الحسنى وما يخاف ويرجى أن تجعلني من عتقائك من النار. Free me from your punishment. Now 10 times. بك يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم. Raise your hands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم شافي وعافي كل مريض. اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك. غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك. اللهم اقض عنا الدين وأجرنا من الفقر إنك على كل شيء قدير. Oh Allah, every man and woman present in this gathering with a sin, forgive our sins. With a haja, give us our hajat. Shower onto the graves of all the mu'mineen, all the mu'minat, from your family, from your friends, from your loved ones. نهدي جميعا ثواب سورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
Thank you so much, Sayyid, for beautiful message. So from here, we are going to move to the masjid. But before you move, I know that it's hard for some of you, especially those who have to go to a school 7 in the morning. If you can stay, that's beautiful, that's blessing. But if it is too hard for you to stay with us, that is understandable. Remember that the greatest night of power will be this Thursday that we are going to have the entire ceremony and celebration of Laylatul Qadr on Thursday night. That is going to be the longest night, but tonight we are going to make it shorter. It's only al-Mushaf and al-Jawshan and then as-Suhoor. So you are going to have your Suhoor before Suhoor actually this night. That is good. And I know my son told me that over 150 people were listening to Sayyid online, Instagram. How much? 300, mashallah. So, you know, I don't follow Instagram, but my son, mashallah, he doesn't have even a telephone. I have it. I don't know how many watch it. And he knows, even without looking at any smartphone, he knows how many people are following Instagram. And many of them may be in Dearborn Heights. So I'm telling those people who watched online to come and be closer to us. We are not biting anybody. We are not bothering anybody. We are so friendly. We are so peaceful. We are so patient and so loving and welcoming. So please come and join us, because in Arabic they are saying that عصفور في اليد خير من ألف عصفور على الشجر, right? If you had one bird in your hand, better than thousands of birds on the tree. Because there was a guy who had a bird in his hand, عصفور, and he saw that so many birds on the shajar, on tree. He said, forget about one. He let it go, and he thought he can go and, you know, capture so many عصفور. So he lost the one that he had, and all of them flew, and he didn't get any new عصفور. So he lost everything. So always when you have عصفور in your hand, when you can come to the masjid and enjoy this friendship, that is wonderful. So we are going to go to the masjid and say, Ilahi, وقف السائلون ببابك ولاذ الفقراء بجنابك ووقفت سفينة المساكين على ساحل بحر جودك وكرمك ونحن عبيدك المذنبون فارحمنا برحمتك واعتقنا من النار بعفوك اغفر لنا ذنوبنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين صلوات. See you in the masjid, al-Mushaf, al-Jawshan, al-Suhoor, and then goodbye till tomorrow inshallah. And please, the lecture continues, but don't miss